My mentor, John D. Martini, said, when the voice and the vision on the inside becomes louder and more profound than opinions on the outside, you've begun to master your own life. What the hell's going on over here? Am I the only one? Is it just me? Am I the only one that is struggling now because of the fact that I badly need it and I don't have any way of getting it? And I have this guy that I usually see, Mahyar. He does all the Persian haircuts in Vancouver, and I don't have access. Hey, Scott, what's going on, my brother? From Australia, mate. I'm just talking about how my hair, I mean, this is not something, have you had this problem, Scott? I basically have nastiness going on this head of lettuce, and I really have, it's confronting. Looking in the mirror is very confronting because I've lost control, and I've run out of hair product, and you're at home, you don't really give a shit about your hair. And then you go on camera and you're like, oh crap, and then you look and you're like, holy shit, like there's some crazy head of lettuce going on. Type in the comment section if you're not impressed with your personal grooming and hair and makeup and all that stuff. It's like, it's weird. It's like we're in a war zone where these things are not a priority, yet I'm faced with the reality that I have to look at myself in the mirror, and I don't like it. I don't like. And here's the best part. I'm getting married next week. And it turns out that the hotel is taking bookings, and so we will go to the island. We will do this, and it's just going to be us, me and my partner. And we are going to, hey, what's up, Joe? Hey, Elizabeth. Hey, Kara. Let me know where you're signing in from. Just what's your location right now? I want to know where you're at. Because I have something that I want to share with you today. It is the most incredible nervous system regulating exercise that you can do, especially if you're in quarantine with somebody, with a partner, where all of your relationship challenges, all of the things that are confronting the two of you are going to show up. But first I want to talk about how confronting it is for me to look in a mirror and not have control over this, and letting go of control over my head of lettuce. You're hideous, don't look. Joe, I saw you on our breathwork yesterday, and you're right. I must admit, you're absolutely right. It was very difficult to look in the screen. We did a breathwork ceremony yesterday. It went a little long, so I'm learning how to bring it in. Next time I promise to keep it under 3 hours, but there were over 80 people from all over the world participating on a journey inward bound into a reconnection that was very confronting for some people, very conflicting for some people, how they realize how disconnected they've been from themselves. How many people have this ancient practice of reconnecting, this kind of journey inward bound where we don't want to go because we're so goddamn afraid of our feelings. Hey, what's up? What's up, Marie? It's nice to see you. So today's Q&A, leaving it open if you have any specific questions, but I wanted to give you a tip tonight to help you regulate your nervous system, to help you regulate your children, to help you regulate your partner. It's a very powerful form of co-regulation. Sorry, I can't look at myself right now. It's really hideous. I'm sorry. Like, I texted my barber, and I'm like, please help me. Something. So I wanted to show you, this is something that I realized when I realized this is very important if you want to create what's called a secure attached relationship. Many people are realizing in their relationships right now that when they're confined and sequestered and kind of in quarantine with their loved ones, with their kids, it's like, oh, I can't distract myself from the fact that I'm completely disconnected. And so the question is, how do I connect? Can you hear me okay? Is this, hopefully this is working. It's had some audio problems earlier. So what this is called a regulating hug. Okay, and the whole idea is to get you into your body. And usually this is very useful for couples, especially if one of the couple, either the man or the woman or the masculine or the feminine, same sex, doesn't matter, it's all the same love, comes home after not being together. And what you're going to do normally, our devices, we go into our problems, and the first thing that I'm going to encourage you to do, that I'm going to invite you to do, is called a regulating hug. Okay, so when I learned this, it was like I would come home and I would see my partner Diana, and before all else, it's like now she's waiting for me like this. And so I walk in and then we do this. So I want to introduce you. So come on over here, and I want to introduce you to Diana. This is my partner, Diana, my fiance. We just got engaged. She just got the ring, and we're getting married next week. So what is it that we do every time? What is it that I do every time whenever I come home?
Hug me.
Yeah.
And breathe.
Yes, exactly. So what you're going to do is, this is what I would like for you to do, and just to remember. Now remember, most of the time you're in your head. Okay? Most of the time you're in your head. Elizabeth says ball cap. I'll get to it. Most of the time we're in our head, and the best way that you can get out of your head is to get into your body. And the best way to do that, especially with a partner, is to use co-regulation, to do a regulating hug. Okay, so here's basically what it looks like. So I'm going to bring her here. So you're going to hug one another, which you've done before. But what you're going to do, look at the look on her face. Thank you. That felt good. She was blushing, and I popped a little bit of a Woody too. I'm full disclosure, full transparency. I popped a little bit of a Woody. But why am I saying this? Because what did you notice there? We just paused. We got into sensation. Close your eyes. And you get into breath. And literally, I guarantee you, if we were to do blood tests and heart rate monitors and all that, at that moment, you would be able to see our blood pressure go down, our heart rate variability, which is a key indicator in your nervous system that helps you determine how adaptable you are to stress, your adaptability. This measures your adaptability as your variability of your heart rate, which is some measures that we can measure our autonomic nervous system. This is what we do when we're measuring how stress affects the body, is the heart rate variability. If you were to take that measurement of us before and after that regulating hug, yeah, you can sit there. Yeah, it works. You can sit there and do it on yourself, and of course, you can do that. But what I'm encouraging you to do tonight, and start to make this a practice, is you connect with your loved ones, with your children this way, with your dog. Do you know what I mean? With your partner, where you do it intentionally to actually bring yourself into a level of regulation, and going from that dissociated sympathetic state, which is where most people are right now, in case you haven't looked, to what we call up the ladder in your autonomic system, to this supportive, feel connected self, which is where your ventral vagal part of the nervous system is. I've talked about this in previous trainings. Accessible to you in 10 minutes with your loved one. And did you see the look on her face afterwards? She was just like, like she wasn't faking that. She's still laughing right now. She's giggling and laughing right now. That, and by the way, why am I doing this? Because she, right now, is growing our baby inside of her. And whatever's happening in her nervous system right now is impacting our child in this COVID-19 pandemic that's happening. We don't really know what the fuck's going on for real, okay? But the fact is, hey Caleb, what's up? I hope you saw that, brother. The key component, hey Lisa, the key component is, if you didn't see that, please rewind. The key component in this that I really want you to get is you have a say in how other people show up in your space, all depending on how you're showing up with you. The question you're going to ask is, what am I putting into my field? And if you have a partner that's on board with you, get them to watch this training. How cool would it be if you had them joining you in that co-regulating hug? Are there any questions that you have? Is there any questions? Does that make sense? Hey, Michael, I see you, brother. To take tonight, tomorrow, all day, wherever you are, and to take a moment and just take 5 to 10 breaths while you're embracing and you're touching and you're getting into sensation, that has a very powerful impact on your nervous system. And imagine if you start your day off like that and then start to hang out with the kids. What experience can you create for them? That's my trigger proof tip for you tonight. Hopefully that is relevant for you. What did you learn from that? I'm going to come back tomorrow. Are there any questions that you have? Excuse me. Are there any questions that you have? What are you confronted by right now, other than the look of your hair and mine because of the lack of ability to go out and get it cut? What's going on for you that you'd love for me to do a training on? If you've just jumped on, please go back and watch the beginning. I talked a very powerful tool of co-regulation. I just had Diana come. She's still giggling about it. I seem to have that effect on her. What are you going to say? What am I going to say? Are you going to do? You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, you can actually do that. You can take this time that's all uncertain, and you can actually come through on the other side more connected, more healed individual, more skillful, more inspired. You literally can. That's really what every one of these trainings are for. And I want you to kind of think, if you want some assistance on that, I want you to think of why. Why? Who are you doing this work for? Who are you learning how to regulate for? Who wins by you showing up as the greater version of you? Think of your clients, think of your children, think of your partner, think of your community. They need you. And every training that I do here is with the leader in mind, the leader within you that knows that you're here for something greater, and that part of you that knows that there's a part of you that's in your own way. And that part of you is actually, it makes sense neurologically. It's your child brain. And without proper tools and learning the skills of integrating the adult mind and the child mind and integrating those layers, the top down and the bottom up, you're consistently going to bump into feeling stuck and not able to move through, connected to yourself, connected to your heart, with an open mind, open heart, ready to serve a community that needs you more than ever right now. Any questions? Hey, Nikki, what's up, hun? Are there any questions? How have you been? Let me know on a scale of 1 to 10 what you've been going through. 10 being I'm doing amazing. 1 being I'm in the shitter. Where you're at, number 1, and what do you need right now? I'm planning on doing more trainings. Another breathwork session coming up. We had a mind-blowing breathwork session yesterday. I'm committed to doing them once a month, where I guide you on a journey inward bound, and to make it affordable so that literally everyone on the planet can participate. A very small investment into your own personal growth to spend 3 hours dedicating to healing. This one conversation that's the most important one of all, healing. So we're doing that. Plus April the 15th, write the date down. The 5th to 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. April the 15th Pacific time. So that's the 16th over there in the morning in Australia. I'm going to be doing a 3-hour kind of journey, how to connect to a disconnected child. And on the, I believe the 26th, I'm going to have all the dates coming up. We are going to do the overview experience, the most powerful journey, healing that younger self. and learning the tools of self-regulation and how to become trigger-proof by taking whatever you're confronted by, emotional challenge, financial challenge, relationship challenge, literally walking you through step by step how to take that challenge and turn it into self-love, and take that conflict and turn it into deeper intimacy. Those are the two most important skills you can learn through this pandemic, is how to take triggers and turn it into self-love, how to regulate your nervous system and your anxiety, how to get out of those intrusive thoughts in the mind and get into regulating in the body, and how to take conflicts that happen every single day through family dynamics, relationship dynamics, workplace dynamics, and turning them into deeper, intimate connections. Why? So that you can break the cycle of intergenerational trauma that didn't start with you. That's really what the whole purpose is. Sorry, what date was the overview experience? It is the 26th of April. Sunday, the 26th of April. I'm going to give you the link. Aaron, what's up, brother? You were at Breathwork yesterday. Write in the comment section what your experience was like. Please share it with the community. Don't hide. Share and engage. That's important for your nervous system, to engage in the present moment. I'm going to leave a link on there for the overview experience. It's coming up. We can only take 20 people. Only take 20, other than my clients that are, it's part of the work that we're doing. For those of you who haven't yet kind of jumped in, it is for 20 of you only. We sold out last time. We sell out pretty much every single training that we do, because my commitment is whatever you invest, you're going to get 10x the investment. And you can hold me to that by making sure you put your hand up and say, I didn't get this. You set a very powerful intention before, and then you make it clear, and then you put up your hand if you need extra help. But I walk you through a journey, asking you questions. There's music, there's a little bit of dancing, like there's movement. It's basically how to get yourself into a flow state from your stuck state, how to calm your anxiety, how to connect deeper with yourself, how to heal your wounded inner child, how to actually connect with them, how to talk to them, how to have empathic communication, how to have authenticity, how to create fulfillment, how to be the one to drive the bus of your life and consciously co-create, rather than just being a victim to the circumstances hoping that mommy and daddy will save you. How to connect a relationship that's completely been disconnected, how to up-level your parenting. Like, everything starts to improve when you go inward bound and change the relationship with yourself. And that's really what it's going to be all about. Love the breathwork. Massive shift. Breathwork is amazing. 26th of April. Absolutely. Caleb, send me a DM. I'm going to give you the link. What I'll do is, if you go ahead and register for that, I'm going to send you the breathwork yesterday to kind of prep you for the event. I'll send that to you complimentary, Caleb. If you actually want to jump into that, and if you, I'm actually going to send you guys something, a gift for everybody in this community. There is a training that I have called How to Become Trigger Proof. It's a workshop that I did, a live virtual training. Normally it's $97. I'm gifting it to all of you for free. Let me just drop the link right here. .com VW1. There it is right there. You go ahead and click that link. And by the way, when it goes to pay, there's going to ask you for a promo code. And what you're going to write down in the promo code is that. I just wrote it there, trigger proof. All one word. If you just go ahead as though you're paying, but then in the promo code, write down trigger proof, all small, then you get that 90-minute training for free. I want to make this information, I want it to be worldwide. I want you to pass this along to everybody. Everybody in this community will get that training for free because you're in this community. I just really want to give that away so that you can then start the process of self-healing, so that you can then stop looking outside of yourself for answers, so that you can connect to that inner voice, so that when you get into this limbo of what the fuck should I do right now, you learn how to tune in, and that voice inside will basically guide you and say, oh, here's what your next level is, so that you always have access to inner guidance, not outside guidance. That's the result of the work. My mentor, John DeMartini, said, when the voice and the vision on the inside becomes louder and more profound than opinions on the outside, you've begun to master your own life. The problem is you don't have access to that voice on the inside if your body is in an unconscious state of alarm coming from trauma from your past that you haven't yet learned how to resolve, that you don't have access to with your cognitive brain. I want to teach you how to drop into the body, get out of your head. Aaron, you know exactly what this is, right? You basically were in your head constantly, very intelligent mindset mentor, right? And then you dropped in, you attended that event in Sydney, and you literally met that younger self. I'll never forget that moment. After you woke up from that breath work, what did I tell you? I said, Aaron, go to the bathroom and look in the mirror. Go to the bathroom, look in the mirror, tell me what you see. And what did you notice when you I want you to share this because this is big. Aaron and Caleb, I kind of connected you because there's so many. I do this a lot in my community. I'm like, Aaron, go talk to Caleb. Aaron, you just had that question. Go talk to Nikki. Did you? People reach out to me constantly and they say, I'm having a problem with this, and this. Before I used to explain myself, try to sell myself. Oh, please attend. Please, you should. And now the seasoned version of me who absolutely knows what I do now is I understand your question. Go talk to so-and-so who literally just went through the exact same thing you did, right? Is that the somatic side of things? Yes, it is the somatic side of things. Melinda, you were at the breathwork yesterday. What was that experience like for you? Caleb, this is it. This is the somatic side of things. The work that I do doesn't ignore the cognitive side. I'm very much well versed in it. I've fucking done my entire half of my career was in that. It's just that now what I've learned is before we do that, we take care of this. I want you to look at it. This is Dan Siegel's hand model of the brain. So the brain kind of folds in on itself. This is the neocortex. This is the emotional brain. This is the brainstem, and this is the body, the nervous system. Okay? This was all developed before the age of 6. From conception to 6, this is basically what's been running your life. And this part of you is the adult brain. It hasn't been developed until your late 20s. So most of the trauma that you've experienced in your life has happened through this time. That's why going to a counselor, that's why doing therapy, although is very helpful to kind of change that story, it only deals with this aspect of it. The problem is this entire aspect, right, Melinda? When you get triggered, is this aspect working? Hell no. This entire part of you goes offline, and you are literally run by it. You revert back to the childlike part of you that's scared, that's afraid to jump in. And one breathwork, he goes, oh, dude, I went back into the womb. And so many people have that experience when we do breath work and we do the overview method. When I drop you into your body, into early traumas, when we regress you, a lot of people will say things to me like, oh my God, I went back to when I was in utero. Like, is that right? And I'm like, absolutely it is. That from conception is when your unconscious mind was created. And so all the stress that your mother went through when you were in utero, what was their relationship like? Was there a lot of conflict? When your mom got pregnant, did she wonder, is this guy going to be around? That conflict, that not knowing, downloads into you. Was there conflict? Did your father all of a sudden say, fuck this, I don't want the baby, I'm out of here?
My name is Dr. Nima Rahmany, and you've been listening to the Trigger Proof, designed to teach you the most important skill necessary for a dramatically changing world, which is nervous system regulation. And becoming trigger proof doesn't mean trigger less. It means learning how to regulate ourselves to bring us back to center so that we can then be governed by our purpose rather than from our wounds. Anytime there's reactivity, there's a wound. And if you're curious and inspired to learn more, join us at Breathwork and Badassery or the overview experience. There's a difference between listening to a podcast and actually showing up live and doing the work with a badass community who's all about breaking cycles of intergenerational trauma. It didn't start with you, but it can end with you if you're willing to do the work. See you at the next perfect time.
That's going to be downloaded into you. Did you have an invitation to actually exist? So knowing this, and then all of a sudden, 2 months ago, a month ago, 14 weeks ago, well, you're 14 weeks today, right? So 7 weeks ago, I discover that I'm going to be a father, and now my partner, my girlfriend, who's now my fiance, we're getting married next week, is going to have a baby in the midst of the COVID pandemic. Oh shit. Now I know that everything that my baby is, my partner right now is experiencing, if she's feeling anxious, if she's feeling like I'm disconnected from her, if she's wondering if I'm going to be around to support her and the baby, that she's going to have to do this alone, all of that craziness going on in her mind is literally getting downloaded into my baby right now. Holy fuck. You know, this was a really interesting moment in the overview experience that we did a couple of weeks ago. Changed my life just watching. I'm sitting here and we got to a part where we regressed everybody back to when they were younger. And we brought up the wounds all together. Imagine like 40 people doing this together. We all brought up these old wounds. It was beautiful. And at one moment, I asked everybody in the comment section, I said, write down what meaning that you're making out of that. And what do they say? They say, I'm not enough. I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy of love. All of this stuff, everybody was saying, I'm not enough. I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy of love. And I'm just like, this is a universal trauma that we all have, that we have no idea how to manage, that we haven't been taught in school. Nobody taught us how to manage our emotions. They taught us trigonometry. I haven't used much of that lately. It would have been nice for me to be taught what happens when you stop, what happens with resentment, what happens when anxiety is coming up. How do I regulate that? I really want to teach people so that they can teach their kids. So when I saw that, I realized this was 2 days before we had our first ultrasound or sonograph, where I literally heard my baby's heartbeat for the first time, and I burst into tears. And immediately I was overcome with this absolute feeling of deep love. If you're a parent, if you've been a parent, you parents who've gone through this, right in the comment section, experience that. If you've experienced that moment where you listened and you heard your baby and their heartbeat, in that moment, we both burst into tears. She was in the appointment, and I was on FaceTime. So we had it on FaceTime. I was watching, and I'm sitting here while I was in quarantine watching, bursting into tears at the amount of love that I felt for a child just for their beingness. So in that moment, I was like, this child is universal perfection. Ultimate worthiness of love. Parents, write in the comments if you know what I'm talking about. Ultimately worthy of love. And to think, this is what happened in the middle of the overview experience, as everybody was writing down, I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy of love, I'm broken, I'm a bad person. I started crying, imagining my child actually thinking that they were not worthy of love. The notion, the lunacy of the sheer, like, what the fuck? Like, my child at some point believing that they're not worthy of love literally broke my heart to think that. And I was watching everybody typing in. If you were there, let me know. This was beautiful. Yeah, it was just the best, right? Now, when you hear their heartbeat, you know they're worthy of love. But during the overview experience, people were typing in, I'm not worthy of love. And I'm like, holy crap, if my child ever feels that way, I don't know how I'm gonna react. Like, how can they possibly think that they're not ultimately worthy? And then I thought, if this is a universal trauma, the question you really want to ask is this, and I'd love to have you write it out. At what point in my life did I decide that I was no longer worthy? Because we're born with universal intelligence, with our divine perfection. If you're a parent, you know, you see this perfect child. So at what point does that child then conclude and make meaning that they're actually not worthy of love? That is the real question. And in the overview experience, we get to reconnect with that moment. And you get to have a profound, heart-opening moment of deep connection that is otherworldly. And is why I left full-time chiropractic, because what people really need, other than the adjustments in their nervous systems below Atlas, is the adjustment above Atlas to help them reconnect from that disconnection. And now I'm dedicating my entire life to teaching people that, because if we do, then we will be able to stop the cycle of intergenerational trauma, because that's what this is all about. It didn't start with you. It didn't start with your mom or dad. They were at the effect of their intergenerational trauma. The good news is, if you put your hand up, let me see if you're putting your hand up in the comments, put them up, it ends with me. That's what this community is all about. People willing to take on the responsibility. But what's in the way? What's in the way of us doing it? What's in the way of us putting up our hands and saying, I'm going to be the one to heal all of my ancestral wounds? What's in the way? Take a wild guess what that is. Just write it out. Come and guess what that is. The answer is fear. The answer is fear. If you're new to this, be open to the possibility that your relationship with fear is so fucked that it has power over you, that you're terrified of actually going and changing that identity. Who would you be without that old victim story? And fear of actually going back and reconnecting with feeling, because you've worked so damn hard to not feel. You've done all this DeMartini work, you've done all this personal development work to avoid feeling. I know I did. Until I realized it's time to stop. And what's happened now is I still get triggered quite a bit, but now I've been able to take whatever triggers me, and I get triggered probably every day because I work with people who are constantly triggered, and sometimes I take on the role of their parent and I trigger them and they trigger me, and it happens. So I now have learned how to take that, and instead of lashing out, instead of getting furious, I've learned how to get curious, go inside, and alchemize that trigger into deeper self-love and come back with a heart open, genuine, with an emerging, humble servant leader on the other side of that. That's what's available for you if you make that. Caleb, fear of failure is in the way. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, Caleb. You nailed it. Fear of failure. And here's what it is, Caleb. Fear of failure. I want you to imagine, how old is that fear? In other words, there was a 5-year-old version of Caleb, a 6-year-old. I don't know how old because I haven't worked with you yet. But I imagine with a very stern parent that if you didn't get a certain achievement, if it wasn't done exactly a certain way, there was an experience of a withdrawal of love. There was an experience of either a punishment or where was the other part of it, or a withdrawal of love if you didn't perform at a certain level. So basically, failing in your body, here's what's happened. In your body, you have a somatic experience of, if I fail, then love is withdrawn from me and I'm not worthy and I'm going to be alone. And the world is not safe if I fail. And the work that we do to heal that will be to get you connected to that part of you and really holding him in your body. This is going to be weird. If you told me 2 years ago I was talking about this shit, I would have said, what the fuck? But seriously, going back to that part of you who failed and was punished for it, and consistently filling the cracks in the floorboard and letting that younger part of you know that whether you got an F or an A, you're lovable regardless. Is what came up in the workshop, in the breath work. And it'll probably come up in breath work. When you do breath work, this is what somebody in that situation is going to come up. Likely foster care. Okay. Boom. Makes sense. Deep trauma, right? Foster family, do they have understanding of attunement to your needs? Probably not, right? So it makes total sense, Caleb, my friend. You're in for a real treat, dude. You're in for a real treat. There was a woman who was at the breathwork yesterday. When you register, I'll send it to you. You got to watch it. It's beautiful on the replay. Many of you have already ordered the meditation and the breathwork. It was powerful. There was a woman who basically, throughout the entire breathwork session, she was messaging me when everybody was supposed to be breathing. She's like, I don't think I'm getting it. I don't think I'm getting it. In other words, Caleb, she was exactly like you. She was like fearing the failure. And what I kept saying to her was, just go back to your breath. And then I messaged her and I said, you're loved regardless. You are loved regardless, even if you don't get it. And boom, that dropped her into these massive tears, and she realized all her life she's been trying to get it right. She's been afraid of failing. And I asked her afterwards when we were sharing, because what would it mean? Her name is Rachel or Rebecca, I can't remember. What would it mean if you failed? And she said that I'm not worthy of love. I'm like, exactly. So your healing will be to reconnect you to that. So the breath work uncovers, you're going to love it, will uncover what's been stopping you all along. It is probably the most powerful, scary, yet heart-opening moment that you'll ever have. Like the feedback that I've been getting from it, from the peeps who came, was astounding. Like, it was amazing. I was put into foster care in kindergarten, so like 5, 6. Dude. Caleb, can we all, as a community right now who's listening, who's watching, can we all send love to Caleb and his little 5-year-old inside, whose parents were in such a distress situation, that were so at the effect of their traumas that they couldn't take care of themselves, let alone a 5 or a 6-year-old. Can we all send love right now to Caleb and his 5-year-old self right now? Everybody sending love. Boom, the hearts right now. And Caleb, I'm it to you, and you're going to open your arms like this, and you're going to receive it. It's going to feel weird, but this is how healing happens. It happens in community with sharing. Welcome to the new kind of model of healthcare. This is it right here. You're experiencing it. Open your arms. Peeps, I want you to start tapping the love button right now as we send love to Caleb and his little 5-year-old who just was so confused and didn't know how to make sense of being, put into foster care. So we're sending that to you right now, brother. Take that in. Beautiful. Lots of love. Feel it. Feel it. Big hugs and love to you and the little 5-year-old and to your partner, your wife, and all of the challenges you've gone through to bring to this revelation. You are now on the precipice of walking. Feel that love, brother. See it? That's how healing happens. This is what we do on the group calls. There's a lot of love, dude. healing happens. It happens in community. I'll send him Reiki. Good. Elizabeth, you're also in Alberta. Send him Reiki right now. Dear Caleb, we send you so much good energy to wrap around you. We want your healing. Do you see what this is like, Caleb? This is the game. Co-regulation. Caroline, why don't you share your experience at the overview experience? You were there. That was first experience. And I stand for you, young lady. You have twin boys who one of them had cancer, and he's recovering survivor of cancer, and you literally have been dealing with that, and you're now have emerged stronger and as a leader, not just for your family, but for your community. Big love to you. Can you see how it works? I'll send him Reiki. Beautiful. Caleb, did you receive that? I just want you to get this. This is how it works. Imagine being in a Zoom call, a group call in Zoom. Whew, it's going to be amazing. Send me a DM and I'll send you the link and I'll get you registered right away. This is your next move. This is your healing. This is what's going to bust your heart open. And the fear of failure will be there. I want you to write this down. I'm willing to walk with my fear. I'm willing to walk with my fear. And let me put you at ease. You will fail many times on this path. It's like entrepreneurship. How many times have I failed as an entrepreneur? Pretty much daily. I fail daily. This is basically part of it. Let me put you at ease. You will fail again and again and again. It's like learning to walk, Caleb. Remember when you started learning to walk? Of course you don't remember, but you see a child doing it. They get up and then they fall. They failed. I'm going to turn to that kid and say, you know what, son, Caleb? You failed. Don't get up again. Just stay down there. You failed. And then he'll get up again. Then you'll walk a few steps. Boom. You failed again. The fuck? Maybe this walk isn't for you. Then riding a bicycle or rollerblades or whatever. Boom. You failed. Failure is not possible. It's inevitable. That's the whole point. I write this down. I'm willing to feel the fear of failure, and I'm willing to fail again and again. Beautiful. Beautiful. So again, what's my intention on every broadcast is to bring you back into yourself. By the way, if you just jump on, please go back and watch the beginning. I brought on lovely fiance and I showed you a co-regulative hug, what that feels like. Go back and watch from the beginning. You can't miss it. Diana was here and you see, and what was funny, it was watch her face after the hug was finished. Okay? Watch her face. You can't fake that shit. So I will see you tomorrow morning with another trigger-proof transmission from my heart to yours, sending you healing, sending you conscious awareness, sending you self-love, because the people around you need you at your best. I'm going to take on responsibility for giving you the trainings that's going to allow you to be your best for the people around you, your clients, your family, your children, your partner, most importantly, yourself. I'm here for you. Let me know what you're stopped by, and I'll do a training on it tomorrow. Send me a DM if you want the link for the next overview experience, or on April 15th, how to connect to a disconnected child. We have breathwork coming up. We have connecting to a disconnected child. We have the overview experience, like becoming trigger, like this community is badass. And what we're also going to do is start to do somatic yoga with music as well. We're getting Eilina, who's one of the coaches in our program, to start doing these classes for you. We're going to put classes for yoga that is music that gets you into a flow-like state into your body, because we're focusing on somatic healing. Why? Because every trigger that you're dealing with right now isn't coming from your mind. It's coming from your unconscious mind, which is your body. So our job is to get you back into your body. Make sure you back and watch at the beginning, Caleb, thank you for your participation. Please make every training. I'm going to be diving into content each and every day. And hopefully I'm going to be able to get my hair cut before my wedding next week, which is going to be on Zoom. Not going to be public for everyone, but pretty stoked. I'm getting married, and just
make sure you subscribe.
Really grateful to be sharing this journey with you. Like, holy shit, how life has completely transformed in the last like month alone. And thanks to this pandemic, I'm feeling more connected, more purposeful, more committed to making sure that you get through stronger than you did going in. That's my commitment. I know that's my commitment for me. I want you to just really connect to a vision for yourself and stay committed to the vision rather than the circumstances around. Sending you mad love, and we'll see you at the next perfect haircut. I know. I need a haircut. Thanks. Thank you. Jen, big love to you. Go watch the beginning of this, and don't mind the hair. I know. I need a haircut big time.